Okay, let us take the graph. Take down this. A graph is plotted between rate versus time. Rate versus time. Let us see first is rate of evaporation or rate of condensation. Tell me, at the beginning time is 0. Okay, at the beginning there is only vaporization will be there, no? So therefore the rate of vaporization is maximum. Yes or no? Now what happen as the time is increases, the rate of vaporization gradually decreases. Okay, at the same time, at the beginning, this is what rate of, this is the graph related to rate of vaporization. Next, so at the beginning the rate of condensation, right? So condensation will be 0 beginning, but as time proceeds, what happen? Condensation, it slowly starts and it is increases. Okay, at this particular stage, tell me the rate of vaporization as well as this is a rate of condensation. Okay, at this point is same, no? Now which is called equilibrium. So at equilibrium the rate of vaporization and rate of condensation both will be equal. So this graph related to the rate of vaporization, rate of condensation and equilibrium. Take down. Continuation. Next is vapor pressure. What is vapor pressure and its related concepts? Okay. Now listen. Right. So in the morning class we have studied this concept. Let us take, it is a beaker containing any liquid. Let us take water only. There is a water in beaker. Okay, and it is closed. Let us take another vessel. Okay, listen carefully. A beaker containing water and which is closed with another vessel. Now it is a closed vessel. Now tell me, we know that this is a water, or else you can take any liquid. So obviously there are surface molecule. This surface molecule whether having more kinetic energy, less kinetic energy, more kinetic energy compared to the bulk molecule, interior molecule. Therefore these surface molecule easily undergo vaporization. They convert into vapor molecules. Yes or no? Vapor molecule. This process called what? Vaporization. So liquid molecule get converted into vapor molecule. Here the vapor molecule density is increases. So this is a vaporization. At the beginning there is only vaporization because liquid molecule get converts into vapor. Once the vapor condensed here, vapor comes here, these vapor again condense. They become what again? Liquid. So this process is called what? Condensation. At particular stage, the rate of vaporization is equals to rate of condensation, which is called equilibrium. At equilibrium, let us imagine it is at equilibrium. At equilibrium, there are some vapor molecule, right? So these vapor molecule exert pressure or not? Yes. At equilibrium, there are vapor molecule. These vapor molecule can exert pressure. That pressure is called vapor pressure. Then how do you define vapor pressure? Vapor pressure is the pressure exerted by the vapor of liquid. The pressure exerted by the what? Vapor of liquid when vapor and liquid are both are in equilibrium at given temperature, which is called vapor pressure. So therefore, how do you define vapor pressure? The pressure exerted by the vapor of liquid when both liquid and vapor are in equilibrium at given temperature, called vapor pressure. So this vapor pressure usually denoted by P. Okay, so this is the definition of vapor pressure. Next, now important is what are the factors affecting on vapor pressure? Which factor affect the vapor pressure? Okay, in previous class we have studied what are the factors affecting on rate of vaporization. There are 4 factors. Tell me. 1. What factors affect the rate of vaporization? 1. Nature of liquid. 2. Temperature. 3. Surface area of liquid. And 4th one is flow of air current. So flow of air current. So therefore here, except last one, all 3 are same. First one is nature of liquid. Vapor pressure is related to nature of liquid. Now tell me, there are 2 types of liquid we study here. Generally, one volatile liquids, second one is non. So in this topic we will get only 2 liquids, volatile as well as non-volatile. So remember, usually what are volatile liquid? Volatile liquid is the liquids which are having weak intermolecular force of attraction. In case of liquid molecule, they have very weak intermolecular force of attraction. Therefore, they can be easily escape into vapor phase. That means they can convert liquid state to vapor state is very easily. So those liquids are called volatile liquids. Next, another type liquid is non-volatile liquid. So what are non-volatile liquid? The liquids which are having very strong intermolecular force of attraction. Due to strong intermolecular force of attraction, these liquid molecule cannot escape into vapor phase easily. So therefore, now tell me, what is the nature of liquid, or how does nature of liquid decides the vapor pressure? So usually volatile liquids, the vapor pressure of volatile liquid is more than the non-volatile liquid. So therefore, vapor pressure of volatile liquid always greater than vapor pressure of non-volatile liquid. Okay. So for example, let us take diethyl ether. So diethyl ether is the most volatile liquid, organic liquid, and water. So among water and diethyl ether, which one has more vapor pressure? Diethyl ether, because it is a volatile liquid. So the vapor pressure of volatile liquid is always greater than the non-volatile liquids. Okay. So this is how nature of liquid depends on the vapor pressure depends on nature of liquid. Second one is temperature. Temperature. So vapor pressure also depends on temperature. How? Generally, vapor pressure is increases with increasing temperature. That means vapor pressure is directly proportional to temperature. As the temperature increases, vapor pressure is increases. So best example is pressure cooker whistle. Okay. So when you cook something in pressure cooker, vegetable or rice, okay, when you go on heat it at particular temperature, it starts whistle. Why? The inside vapor pressure, no. In the beginning, the vapor pressure inside the pressure cooker is less. But when temperature goes on increases, inside pressure cooker pressure is increase, means vapor pressure is increases. Right? When it is reaches to a maximum, position, maximum point, then it starts vessel, it means it comes outside. Okay, that means so that inside pressure can lift the weight of the vessel. So that means, so vapor pressure is directly proportional to temperature. But the relation between vapor pressure and temperature given by Clapeyron equation, I think you might have studied in physics, is there? The relation between temperature and vapor pressure is given by Clapeyron equation. This Clapeyron equation gives the relation between vapor pressure and temperature, that is log P2 by P1 is equals to delta HV by 2.303 into R T2 minus T1 by T1 into T2. So this is the Clapeyron equation. Then what is the P1 and P2? Where P1 is equals to vapor pressure of liquid at what temperature? At T1 temperature. So P1 is the vapor pressure at T1 temperature. What is the P2? P2 is the vapor pressure of liquid at T2 temperature. And what is the delta V HV? Enthalpy of vaporization. Enthalpy of vaporization. And R is, you know it. What is R? It is a universal gas constant. So what is the value of R? 8.314 joules per mole per Kelvin. Okay, so this is the effect of temperature on vapor pressure. Next, even you can draw the graph also. Let us take it is a vapor pressure, and this is vapor pressure. It is, you can take a reaction coordinate. Okay, when the, or else take temperature directly. Okay, take the temperature. Now tell me, so when the temperature increases, what happens? Vapor pressure is increases. So let us take highest vapor pressure usually. Which solvent we use? Diethyl ether. So diethyl ether has highest vapor pressure. As the temperature increases, vapor pressure is increases. Next, usually we study water. Water has least vapor pressure. So this is for water. But as the temperature increases, tell me, as the temperature increases, what happens? Vapor pressure is increases. So next you can take, it is acetone. Acetone also has high vapor pressure. Then ethyl alcohol. Remember these three, these four. So therefore, now tell me, this graph shows what? Water, ethyl alcohol, acetone, diethyl ether. So what is the order of vapor pressure? Which one has highest vapor pressure? Diethyl ether, because diethyl ether is a volatile, so more volatile solvent. Next is acetone, CH3, C double bond O, CH3. Next is ethyl alcohol, C2H5OH. Next is water. For all, as the temperature increases, their vapor pressure is increases. Okay. So here only we study boiling point. What is boiling point and its relation with the vapor pressure. See, boiling point is, what is the boiling point? What you study in a school level and all, the temperature at which liquid boil. Yes or no? At what temperature water boils? 100 degrees Celsius. Therefore, the boiling point of water is 100. But the chemistry behind this boiling point is something different. Yes, it is related to actually vapor pressure. Right. So what is exactly meaning of boiling point? See, boiling point is, it is the temperature at which the vapor pressure of liquid is equals to vapor pressure, so that is equal to atmospheric pressure. The temperature at which the vapor pressure of the liquid is equals to what? Atmospheric pressure. For example, okay, let us take water. I'll take one simple example, water. So what, at 25 degrees Celsius, it is a normal temperature or room temperature. Let us take the water at room temperature 25 degrees Celsius, and of course it is a water, there is a surface molecule, they undergo vaporization, right? They undergo vaporization, they form the vapor, and of course they undergo even condensation, they form the liquid. So this process will be there whatever the temperature you take. Fine. Now at 25 degrees Celsius, let us take water vapor pressure. So it is measured that the vapor pressure of the water is 23 mm of mercury. It is just 23.8 millimeter of mercury. At what temperature? 25 degree Celsius. So the vapor pressure of water. Now when you start heating the liquid, let us start the heating the liquid. Tell me, when you heat the liquid, what happens? What happens? Here the vapor pressure slowly increases, no? The vapor pressure of the water, here is water is increases. That means number of water molecule here increases, vapor pressure increases. Okay, so it is now 23.8. At the beginning 23.8. Now if you heat it, it slowly increases, and again heat it, again it increases. So now suppose if you heat the 60 degrees, it may increases to something, let us take it is a 500 mm of mercury. You again increase, now increases to 100 degrees Celsius. Tell me, it reaches to what? 760 mm of mercury, because this 760 mm of mercury is what? Atmospheric pressure, right? It means when you increases the temperature to 100 degrees Celsius, the vapor pressure of water reaches to what? 1 atmosphere, which is nothing but 760 mm of mercury. Therefore this 100 degree is called what? Boiling point. It means, now in other way, see, as the temperature of water increases, its vapor pressure increases. Okay, its vapor pressure slowly increases to, initially it is at 23.8 mm. Now it is increases to what? It is increases to 760 mm of mercury. At what temperature? At 100 degrees Celsius. Therefore at 100 degrees Celsius, so this vapor pressure is a 760 mm of mercury, which is equals to 1 atmospheric pressure. Therefore this 100 degree is called what? Boiling point, right? So boiling point is the temperature at which the vapor pressure of the liquid is equals to atmospheric pressure. Okay, for example, now tell me, if the atmospheric pressure is more, usually we take 1 atm, it's all right. At 1 atm, what is the boiling point? 100 degrees. At 1 atm pressure, atmospheric pressure, the boiling point of water is 100. Now suppose if you increase the atmospheric pressure 1 atm to 1.5 atm, tell me what happened? Boiling point ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ? ಬಾಯ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಸೇಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತಾ? ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ? ಸೇಮ್ ಇರುತ್ತಾ? ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತಾ? ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ದ ಬಾಯ್ಲಿಂಗ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಸ್, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ನೋಡಿ, ವೆನ್ ಅಟ್ಮಾಸ್ಫಿರಿಕ್ ಪ್ರೆಷರ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸಸ್, we need to increase again more temperature, no? We should heat it at high temperature so that this vapor pressure equal to atmospheric pressure. Earlier atmospheric pressure is 1 atm. If it is a 1 atm, we need to heat it 100 degrees Celsius. If it is 1.5 atm, you should heat it again more temperature so that this vapor pressure equal to atmospheric pressure. It means as the atmospheric pressure changes, boiling point also changes. If the atmospheric pressure increases, boiling point is increases. For example, the boiling point of water in Davangere 100 degrees Celsius. What is the boiling point of water in Himalayas? Is it same or change? The boiling point of water in Davangere different and even Himalayas different, because Himalayas in cold condition. It is at high altitude, right? Himalayas at high altitude, right? At high altitude, what happened? The atmospheric pressure is decreases. When atmospheric pressure is decreases, boiling point is decreases. It means the boiling point of any liquid is directly proportional to atmospheric pressure. Atmospheric pressure. As the atmospheric pressure is increases, boiling point is increases. As the atmospheric pressure is decreases, boiling point is decreases. Now that is the reason, if the boiling point of water in Davangere 100 degrees Celsius, the same water, the boiling point will not be 100 in Himalayas or hill station anywhere, because at hill station or at high altitude, the vapor pressure, atmospheric pressure is decreases. When atmospheric pressure decreases, boiling point is decreases. That means it is less than 100. Okay, this is one important point. Next, now what is the relation between boiling point and vapor pressure? Now see, as I told that the boiling point is the temperature at which vapor pressure of the liquid equals to what? Atmospheric pressure. The temperature at which the vapor pressure of the liquid is equals to atmospheric pressure. Now suppose if the vapor pressure is decreases, what happened? Boiling point. If the vapor pressure is more, what happened? Boiling point. Suppose there are two liquids. Let us take liquid A, liquid B. Okay, so the vapor pressure of liquid A is, let us take it is a 1.2 atm. The vapor pressure of liquid B, let us take it is a 2.8 atm. Tell me, whose boiling point is more? The relation between boiling point and vapor pressure is inversely proportional. If any liquid has more vapor pressure, what is the meaning of that? It can be vaporized easily. When it can be vaporized easily, its vapor pressure equal to atmospheric pressure easily at low temperature. Yes or no? If any liquid has more vapor pressure, it means that it undergo vaporization easily and its vapor pressure become atmospheric pressure easily at low temperature. It means vapor pressure is inversely proportional to boiling point, right? So if the vapor pressure is more, boiling point is less, right? Therefore boiling point is inversely proportional to vapor pressure. So therefore based on this we can expect questions. There was question asked previously, CET. There are 4 liquids A, B, C, D. Their boiling points given. Boiling point is 2.5 degrees, 25 degrees Celsius. It is a 67 degrees Celsius. It is a 82 degrees Celsius. It is a 21 degree Celsius. Boiling point of 4 liquids. Then which of the following has more vapor pressure? So more vapor pressure means less boiling point. Which one less boiling point? D. Therefore D has more vapor pressure. Which one has less vapor pressure? Option C. That is C, because C has more boiling point, because boiling point is inversely proportional to vapor pressure. Okay. So next, third condition. Third condition is surface area. How does surface area related with vapor pressure? Tell me. So third condition is surface area. Okay, let us take, there are 2 liquids. It is water. I will take another same liquid, but surface area is more. It is also water. Tell me, which one has more vapor pressure? First one or second one? Or both are equal? Tell me, what is vapor pressure? Vapor pressure is the pressure exerted by the vapor of liquid when vapor and liquid both are equilibrium, right? Say suppose here it has less surface area, here less number of water molecule will be there, vapor molecule will be there, here more surface area, there are more number of vapor molecule will be there, but what is the pressure? Force per unit area, no? The force per unit area will be same. Why? It is, see the unit area is, area is less, no? Here area is more, no? Area is more but more number of molecule. Area is less but there is a less number of molecule. So therefore the force exerted by the per unit area, you can take unit area, any unit area, that will be remains same. It means vapor pressure does not depends on surface area. Okay, what we think is generally when surface area increases, vaporization increases. When vaporization increases, obviously vapor pressure supposed to be increases. But the thing is, of course, vaporization increases. When the vaporization increases, vapor molecule increases. But what is the pressure? Force per unit area, right? The force exerted by the gas per unit area will be same. So when surface area increases, more number of molecule increases, but force per unit area will be same. Therefore, so surface area does not affect the vapor pressure, right? When you suppose, for example, the question is like this: there are 3 water beakers A, B, C. One is with 500 ml capacity, second one 1 liter capacity, third one is 2 liter capacity. 500 ml, 1 liter, 2 liter, 3 capacity beakers are kept separately and they contain water. What is the vapor pressure of 1, 2, 3? The relation A, B, C, it is equal, because when the surface area is increases, vapor pressure does not change. So pressure, that is force per unit area, will be constant. Okay. Next, fourth condition or fourth factor is presence of impurities. Presence of impurities. So usually there are 2 types of impurities: volatile impurities, non-volatile impurities. Now which impurity makes vapor pressure increases? Obviously the presence of volatile impurities increases the vapor pressure, and the presence of non-volatile impurities decreases the vapor pressure, right? So if there is impurity, if the impurity is volatile, vapor pressure is more. If the impurity is non-volatile, vapor pressure is less. For example, let us take water. Okay, it is a water, it is also water, 2 beakers containing water. Okay, so what is the vapor pressure of water? You should remember. Tell me. No. What? 23.8. The vapor pressure of water is 23 mm of mercury. It is also in the beginning 23.8 mm of mercury. Okay. Now to this first water beaker, let us add sodium chloride. Second beaker, let us add ether. Tell me, whose vapor pressure is increases? Whether NaCl added beaker or ether added beaker? Ether. Why? Because ether is a volatile liquid, it is a volatile compound, it is a non-volatile compound. Therefore, the presence of volatile compounds, vapor pressure is always increases. So these are the 4 factors affect the vapor pressure. What is the first factor is? Nature of liquid. So what kind of liquids have more vapor pressure? The vapor pressure of volatile liquid greater than non-volatile liquid. Second one is temperature. So temperature directly proportional to vapor pressure. It can be explained by Clausius-Clapeyron equation. That equation important for a problem. Next, third factor is surface area. But here important, in temperature we should remember what is the boiling point. What is boiling point and its related concept. So boiling point is the temperature at which vapor pressure of the liquid is equals to atmospheric pressure. That is called vapor, so that is called boiling point. Okay, boiling point is directly proportional to atmospheric pressure. Boiling point is inversely proportional to vapor pressure. And fourth factor is, third is surface area. As the surface area increases, boiling point, vapor pressure does not change, but rate of vaporization is increases. Okay, last class we have studied the rate of vaporization directly proportional to surface area, but vapor pressure does not change. Next is presence of impurities. So presence of volatile impurities increases vapor pressure, presence of non-volatile impurities decreases vapor pressure. Okay, take down. Right, calculation of molar concentrations of particle. This is already we have done, but once again, right, calculation of molar concentration of particles. Right, so when electrolyte undergo complete association or complete dissociation, molar concentrations changes. Yes or no? Molar concentrations changes in dissociation and association, whereas normalities does not change. So for example, let us take it is a 0.01 m aluminum sulfate. Right, it undergo complete dissociation. It gives how many aluminum? 2 aluminum plus 3. How many sulfate? 3 sulfate ions. Right. Okay. Then it is given that it is a 0.01 molar. Now tell me, the molar concentration of aluminum sulfate is 0.01 molar. Then what is the molarity of aluminum ion and what is the molarity of sulfate ions? So very good. It is a 2 into 2 moles into 0.01. It becomes 0.02 molar. Then it is 3 into 0.01. It becomes 0.03 molar. Then what is the total concentration of particle? What is the total concentration of particle is? It is, yes, very good, 0.02 plus 0.03, it becomes 0.05 molar. Total ions concentration. Okay. Now let us study how does this particle concentration is related with vapor pressure, related with boiling point. So question related to that is important. For example, let us take vapor pressure. It is a volatile liquid. You can take any volatile liquid. Tell me, since it is a volatile liquid, what happened? This molecule undergo what? Vaporization. You will get the vapor molecule here, and they condense, they form again liquids. Yes or no? Now suppose let us add to this volatile liquid any non-volatile solute. When a non-volatile solute is added, to this, what happen? This non-volatile solute particle occupy the surface area, right? They occupy the surface area of the solvent. Then what happen? Vaporization decreases. When the vaporization decreases, what happen? Vapor pressure is decreases. Do you understand? That means what is the relation between vapor pressure and the concentration of solute? So as the concentration of solute is increases, vapor pressure is decreases. Yes or no? Not clear. See once again. Beginning we have taken it is a volatile liquid. Okay. When there is a volatile liquid, so here number of molecule undergo vaporization, you will get vapor here, and they undergo condensation, again you will get liquid here. So this phenomena will be takes place simultaneously. All right. Now there is a beginning, there is a vapor pressure. Let us take vapor pressure is P. Now when a non-volatile solute is added, when a non-volatile solute is added to pure volatile solvent, then what happens? This vapor pressure is decreases. The vapor pressure is decreases because when a non-volatile solute is added, some of the solute particle occupy the surface of the solvent. As a result, these solvent molecule escape into vapor phase is decreases. Therefore, vapor pressure is decreases. If you add more and more non-volatile solute, vapor pressure still is decreases. That means vapor pressure is inversely proportional to particle concentration. As the particle concentration is increases here, as the particle concentration is increases, what happen? Vapor pressure is decreases. For example, let us take here initially NaCl. NaCl, it is a 0.1. Next add AlCl3. AlCl3 is 0.1. Tell me which will decrease as vapor pressure is more? NaCl is 0.1, 0.1, but it is a 0.1 Al, 0.3 aluminum. It means wherever more particle concentration, there is a less in vapor pressure. So that means as the particle concentration increases, vapor pressure is decreases. More particle concentration, less vapor pressure. Okay. So therefore, now here onwards, remember, vapor pressure is inversely proportional to particle concentration. Next, let us see. But we know that vapor pressure is inversely proportional to boiling point. Yes or no? Vapor or boiling point is inversely proportional to vapor pressure. Now, when vapor pressure inversely proportional to particle concentration, then what is boiling point? Vapor pressure is inversely proportional to boiling point, and even vapor pressure inversely proportional to particle concentration. Therefore, boiling point directly proportional to particle concentration. So, as the particle concentration increases, boiling point is increases. For example, let us take, it is a pure water. What is the boiling point of pure water? 100 degrees Celsius. The boiling point of pure water is 100 degrees Celsius. Let us add 10 grams of sodium chloride. Then what happened? Boiling point less than 100, greater than 100, or 100? It should be greater than 100 because sodium chloride is a non-volatile solute. When non-volatile solute is added to volatile solvent, the vapor pressure is decreases, boiling point is increases. Boiling point increases, vapor pressure decreases. You understand? So therefore, here boiling point directly proportional to particle concentration. Okay. So next is, let us see vapor pressure of solid in liquid solution. Vapor pressure of solid in liquid solution. Vapor pressure of solid in liquid solution. Can you tell me example? Where solid in liquid? NaCl in water, sugar in water, or any solid in water which should be dissolved, that must be soluble in water or liquid. Okay. Now tell me, let us take again a pure water. Okay, it is a pure water, and in pure water it undergo vaporization. There will be a vapor molecule here, and it undergo what? Condensation. Now let us take, it is a closed vessel. Closed vessel, right? There are here some vapor molecule. Okay, then what is the, if it is a water, what is the vapor pressure of water at 25 degrees Celsius? 23.8 mm of mercury. Okay. Now next is, let us add non-volatile solute. When a non-volatile solute is added to water, okay, this will be same. Okay, now tell me, so here also there will be a vapor molecule, rate of vaporization, condensation will be there. Now question is, initially the vapor pressure is 23.8 mm of mercury. When a non-volatile solute is added, so here what is the vapor pressure of water, whether less than 23.8 or greater than 23 or equal to 23? It should be less than 23. It means when a non-volatile solute is added to pure volatile solvent, the vapor pressure of solution is decreases. Why the vapor pressure of solution decreases? This is because when a non-volatile solute is added, some of the solute particles, they occupy the surface of the solvent. Right, solute particle occupy the surface of the solvent. As a result, this solvent molecule cannot undergo vaporization easily. Therefore, obviously, vapor pressure is decreases. So, let's see first vapor pressure. The vapor pressure decreases, of course, boiling point is increases. So, therefore, now let the vapor pressure of pure solvent. Let us take vapor pressure of pure solvent P0 A and vapor pressure of solution containing non-volatile solute is take P. Okay, then now vapor pressure of pure solvent is P0 A, vapor pressure of the solution containing, this is P. I will take this is a P, this is a P0. Then among P0 A and P, which is greater? P0 A is always greater than P, because the vapor pressure of pure solvent is always greater than the vapor pressure of the solution containing non-volatile solute. Now I want the difference between pure solvent and a solution, which is called delta P, where delta P is called what? It is a change, of course, lowering of vapor pressure. Then define the lowering of vapor pressure, or what is lowering of vapor pressure? The difference between the vapor pressure of pure solvent and vapor pressure of solution containing non-volatile solute is called lowering of vapor pressure. This lowering of vapor pressure, now it is also directly proportional to particle concentration, yes or no? If the particle concentration increases, here, then what happens? The difference is more or not? This difference also increases. So therefore, this difference or delta P is always directly proportional to particle concentration. So therefore, more particle concentration, more difference in the vapor pressures. Therefore, delta P also directly proportional to particle concentration. Next, another important definition is relative lowering of vapor pressure. Lowering of vapor pressure, it is also called RLVP. What is RLVP? So RLVP is equals to, it is the ratio of lowering of vapor pressure to the vapor pressure of pure solvent. The ratio of lowering of vapor pressure to the vapor pressure of pure solvent is called relative lowering of vapor pressure. This relative lowering of vapor pressure is also directly proportional to RLVP, is also directly proportional to particle concentration. Right? So this is in case of vapor pressure of liquid in solid in liquid. Okay? Right now.